Imagine being told that the ultimate secret to spiritual enlightenment is apologizing to the guy who just ran you over with his bicycle.
Right. Which is, completely wild.
Today, we are looking at a philosophy that throws out absolutely everything you know about self-improvement, optimization, and, well, human psychology.
Usually when we explore frameworks for getting better, it's about fine-tuning your current reality. You tweak a morning routine, you set some healthy boundaries, and you try to be like 10% more productive or happier.
Yeah, it's all about decorating the house you already live in,
Yeah.
making your current existence just a little bit shinier.
Exactly. But the landscape we are exploring today doesn't want you to decorate the house. It wants you to burn it down, walk away, and never look back.
Welcome to the deep dive. Since you asked us to look into this specific framework, we've pulled together two highly intricate, incredibly unconventional texts by an author named Shufeng.
They are titled How to Transcend the Mundane and Elementary Self-Improvement.
And our mission today is to map out this entirely alternate reality, because this framework isn't designed to get you a promotion or fix your marriage.
No, definitely not. It is a complete, self-contained system engineered to elevate a person from an ordinary, flawed human life into what the author calls a celestial being.
A celestial being residing in a realm known as the thousand-year world.
To even step foot onto this path, we have to understand how Shuifeng defines the baseline of human existence. In this architecture, the mundane encompasses almost everything society encourages us to chase.
Like fame, profit, power, and success.
Right, those are the obvious ones. But it also includes cunning, polite pleasantries, and everyday cliches. Anything that anchors you to societal expectations is mundane.
Then you have what he calls the ordinary. This covers human emotions, secular affairs, and your daily interpersonal connections.
Your attachments to family, your career ambitions, your desire for justice, all of that falls into the trap of the ordinary.
The central metaphor operating here is quite vivid. The texts describe the mundane world as being trapped at the bottom of a deep well.
And transcending means physically and spiritually climbing out of that well. You have to strip away the burdens of material possessions and emotional entanglements.
The exact phrase used is pulling weeds from the soul garden so you can eventually relocate to what is called the second home.
Right, but before we start unpacking the actual rules of how to climb out of this well.
And believe me, there are a lot of rules.
Oh, yeah. But we need to pause for a necessary disclaimer here. These texts promote some extremely provocative, absolute, and highly unconventional views on society, physical health, and marriage.
For those of you listening, we want to be crystal clear. We are not endorsing these viewpoints. Our goal here is purely to take apart the original source material and examine the internal mechanics of this unique worldview.
Exactly. We are looking at the blueprints of this belief system, not telling you to move in.
Which is really the best way to approach something this radical. So if the goal is to transcend, the immediate question is, how does the universe actually operate to allow that?
Everything hinges on the concept of the negative universe. According to this philosophy, human consciousness isn't just, trapped in your skull.
Right.
Your mind is directly hardwired into a vast, unseen realm populated by countless spirits. Some are positive and kind, and others are malevolent and evil.
And this realm is hypersensitive to your thoughts. It is entirely reactive. The examples provided in the text are incredibly stark.
Yeah, like if you curse someone under your breath, that person will actively experience bad luck because spirits will carry that intention over to them.
And more darkly, if you even entertain the thought of suicide, corresponding malevolent spirits will flood in to encourage you and actually help you complete the act.
Whatever you yearn for, this universe will mobilize to deliver it. Every thought is essentially an order placed at a cosmic restaurant.
It feels exactly like a cosmic algorithm. Think about how a modern social media feed operates.
Oh, that's a good comparison.
Right, like if you hover over a video of a skateboard crash for 3 seconds, the algorithm immediately serves you 100 more videos of people falling off skateboards.
It doesn't judge whether the video is good or bad for you, it just feeds you what you focus on.
Exactly. In these texts, the negative universe is a social media feed for your soul. Whatever mental energy you emit is exactly what the universe curates and reflects back to you.
Following that logic, if the universe is perfectly reactive to your inputs, you have to hack the algorithm. The texts outline that the primary mechanism for doing this is a highly regimented morning prayer to Allah, the ancestor of Buddha, the greatest creator.
The routine is so specific. You wake up with the sun, open a window to let in fresh air, clean your room, sit in total silence for 3 minutes, and then you pray.
You ask for forgiveness for your past karmic debts, you envision your goals for the day, and you broadcast that pure intention into the negative universe.
And once you execute that morning routine, the entire nature of your day changes. The framework claims that the negative universe will now mobilize its energies to serve and protect you.
Yes. Every single thing that happens to you for the rest of the day is a definite, calculated arrangement. This means if you hit a frustrating delay, you are forbidden from getting angry, because that bad luck is actually a cosmic shield.
The example used in the source material to prove this is heavy, it points directly to the September 2001 attacks at the World Trade Center.
Right. The claim made is that many people who survived did so because of seemingly annoying, unfortunate delays that made them late for work that morning.
A flat tire, a missed train, a spilled cup of coffee. In this framework, those aren't random annoyances. That is the negative universe physically protecting you because you correctly set your intentions during your morning prayer.
Changing your perspective to view inconveniences as cosmic protection fundamentally alters how you navigate society. You are no longer a victim of random chaos. You are walking through a perfectly calibrated environment.
If we accept that premise, it naturally leads us into the daily behavioral rules, the 51 elementary self-improvement practices.
This is where we pivot from grand cosmic theories to how you actually walk down the street. And the overarching theme governing human interaction is radical passivity.
Extreme, absolute yielding.
Conflict is the ultimate spiritual failure.
Picture this scenario from the text. You are walking down the sidewalk. Someone riding a bicycle completely loses control, hops the curb, and crashes into you. You are knocked to the ground. Maybe you're injured.
Under this philosophy, you do not yell. You don't demand an explanation. You must stand up and immediately apologize to the person on the bike for blocking their path.
You literally take the blame.
It extends directly into the professional world as well. The rule regarding superiors dictates absolute respect, honesty, and obedience to your boss.
And the text goes out of its way to clarify that this rule applies whether your boss is a wise and noble leader or a literal mafia boss or a rogue.
Yeah, any superior.
Okay, I have to push back on this. On the surface, this sounds like a manual for becoming a cosmic doormat. Why would a framework designed to elevate you to a celestial being require you to blindly obey a corrupt mafia boss or apologize to someone who recklessly injured you?
It's a fair question.
Where is the enlightenment in being a victim?
Well, that tension is exactly where the internal logic of the system shines. It has nothing to do with worldly justice. In our ordinary mindset, we want fairness. But in this framework, demanding fairness is an emotional entanglement.
It anchors you to the bottom of the well.
Exactly. The texts warn against becoming a hypocrite and conspirator. If you stay in a job but secretly despise your boss, or if you plot revenge against the guy on the bicycle, the sin lies with you. You are generating resentment.
You're feeding negative energy back into the algorithm.
Precisely. Fighting back or demanding justice in the mundane world creates fresh karmic debt. Enduring unfairness like swallowing your pride and apologizing to the reckless cyclist is a strategic act of spiritual self-preservation. You are refusing to let their bad actions pollute your soul garden. You yield because fighting back chains you to them spiritually.
So yielding is actually an incredibly selfish act in a spiritual sense. You are saving yourself by letting them win in the physical world.
Right.
If that is how you handle a stranger on a bike or a corrupt boss, how does this philosophy instruct you to handle the person sleeping next to you? What do you do when the conflict is inside your own house?
Marriage is addressed explicitly, and the perspective is pretty grim. Spouses are viewed as the primary source of damage to human nature.
The framework states unequivocally that there is no perfect marriage. It is the greatest constraint on personal freedom, functioning as the ultimate spiritual obstacle course.
The advice for navigating a difficult marriage is staggering. Let's start with the rules laid out for men dealing with an unreasonable or bad wife. The baseline command is, do not try to change her.
The phrase used is, a leopard can't change its spots. Furthermore, you must not pursue a divorce. You are required to bear your own sins.
The cosmic accounting here dictates that if you are in a miserable marriage, it is a karmic punishment you earned in a past life or through past actions.
Okay.
If you divorce her and run away from the punishment now, the negative universe will simply serve you a worse punishment later. You endure it to burn off the debt.
The coping mechanisms provided for enduring it are wild. It advises a complete psychological detachment while remaining physically in the room. If your wife is being hysterical, you are instructed to pretend she is just an annoying frog croaking.
And if she has an affair, You pretend to be deaf and dumb, acting as if you were simply raising a pig.
You strip the spouse of their humanity to protect your own spiritual equilibrium,
You do.
and then the text escalates to a jarring extreme. It literally states that if she uses violence or brandishes weapons against you, you should knock her out with one punch.
Yeah, that's in there.
Conversely, if she seeks death, the text specifically lists electrocution, poison, drowning, or hanging. You are instructed to pretend not to know and just walk away.
The rules for women dealing with a bad husband are framed differently, but they arrive at the exact same goal of profound detachment. The philosophy argues that expecting a man to fulfill you is a delusion. Every man comes with trade-offs.
Like, a handsome man will naturally flirt with others. A wealthy man will lack romance. A man obsessed with his career won't help around the house.
So the ultimate requirement for a woman's self-improvement is to completely sever her emotional reliance on men. To become a celestial being, you cannot depend on a husband for your internal stability.
To hammer this point home, the texts analyze the life of Marilyn Monroe. The author claims that she committed suicide at 36 solely because she lacked a man she could truly rely on emotionally.
The argument is that if she had shifted her focus away from finding fulfillment in men and instead turned her mind to other spaces, meaning the spiritual realm, she would never have met that tragic end. Emotional reliance is portrayed as a lethal vulnerability.
I am struggling with a massive contradiction here. This framework preaches total zen. You do a morning prayer to achieve cosmic harmony. You apologize to the guy who hit you with a bike. You obey a mafia boss just to avoid conflict.
Right.
Yet in the same breath, it casually advises a husband to knock out a violent spouse with one punch or completely ignore an active suicide attempt in their own home. How can both of these extremes exist in the same philosophy?
We have to look at the hierarchy of existence within this worldview. Human relationships are fundamentally seen as temporary karmic prisons. The goal is not to build a happy, communicative, modern marriage.
No.
The goal is to survive the marriage without accumulating new spiritual debt.
So intervening in a suicide attempt might actually be a karmic mistake.
In this logic, yes. If you view your spouse not as a partner but as a test designed by the negative universe, walking away makes sense to the author. If you intervene in their spiritual crisis, you might entangle your own soul in their karmic debt. You endure the affair because it pays off your own past sins. It is a terrifyingly lonely approach to intimacy, but it perfectly aligns with the ultimate goal of escaping the well.
If human interaction is this fraught with karmic traps and emotional landmines, it makes me wonder how this philosophy handles a person just being alone. What are you even allowed to do with your own time and your own body?
That brings us to the incredibly strict rules on personal hygiene and what you are allowed to consume, both mentally and physically. First, there is an intense information diet.
Rule 9 explicitly dictates consuming less television and fewer newspapers. The rationale is that the more information you absorb from the mundane world, the harder it is to calm your mind. Current events just breed worry, fear, and anger.
Instead, you're supposed to read sage books, popular science, or, and I find this highly specific recommendation, fascinating magazines like Reader's Digest.
I love that. It wants you consuming wholesome, unchallenging anecdotes.
A highly curated, sterile mental environment. This need to insulate the mind extends to what the texts call petty skills. There is a list of hobbies and skills you are strictly forbidden from learning, though it notes you shouldn't mock those who practice them.
I want to read this list because the juxtaposition is so bizarre. It forbids learning magic, stock speculation, fortune-telling, stamp collecting, performing arts, and begging.
Quite the mix.
I can understand banning stock speculation. That's obviously chasing worldly profit. But stamp collecting, how does a hobby like organizing old postage stamps prevent you from becoming a celestial being?
Think about the mechanics of obsession. Stamp collecting assigns immense artificial value to a tiny piece of mundane paper. It encourages hoarding, categorization, and attachment to physical objects.
That's true.
Whether you are obsessing over a stock certificate or a rare stamp, your mental energy is tethered to the material world. You are staring at the dirt at the bottom of the well instead of looking up at the sky.
That makes perfect sense within this logic. And this demand for purity moves from the mind directly into the biology of the body. Rules 36 and 50 govern physical purity. You are forbidden from celebrating birthdays. You are forbidden from donating blood or receiving blood transfusions.
Yeah.
Why birthdays?
Well, a birthday is the ultimate celebration of the ego. It rejoices in your physical incarnation in the mundane world, reinforcing your identity as a temporary human rather than an eternal celestial being.
And the ban on blood transfusions.
Blood is viewed as the physical carrier of your specific karmic state and soul energy. Mixing your blood with someone else's isn't just a medical procedure. It is a literal mingling of spiritual debts. You are polluting your soul garden with a stranger's karma.
Which brings us to the most complex bodily rule of all, the stance on eating meat. The framework acknowledges that life is hard and eating meat is sometimes necessary for sheer survival, which the greatest creator permits.
Right.
But it warns that eating meat is incredibly dangerous, not for your cholesterol, but for your soul.
This is the concept of meat toxins. The theory presented is that when an animal is slaughtered, the intense fear and resentment it experiences in its final moments causes its actual molecular structure to change. The negative emotion crystallizes into a physical toxin.
It is essentially a spiritual biohazard. If you eat a vegetable, it makes you calm because a plant doesn't feel resentment. But if you eat meat, you are literally ingesting biological anger.
Yeah, and over time, digesting that molecular resentment makes you violent, selfish, and cruel.
To support this, the text points to the Islamic practice of reciting prayers before slaughtering animals. It claims Muslims do this specifically to comfort the animal's soul and essentially remove the poison of resentment before death.
The author even calls for modern scientists to investigate this, suggesting that if you looked under a microscope, the molecular structure of meat from an animal that died peacefully of old age would look fundamentally different from one that was forced into slaughter.
You cannot fertilize your soul garden with the terror of another living creature, so you are disconnected from society. You let people run you over with bicycles. Your marriage is a karmic prison. You can't collect stamps, you can't celebrate your birthday, and you can't eat a burger without risking spiritual poisoning.
It sounds incredibly bleak.
It really does. What is left? What is the actual payoff for emptying your life of all these things?
The payoff arises in Rule 49 and Rule 51. Despite the extreme asceticism and detachment, this framework is not nihilistic. It actually engineers a very specific structure for experiencing profound daily joy.
It starts with the mandate on time. You are required to work exactly 8 hours a day. It doesn't matter if you are rich or poor, doing manual labor or mental labor. Work builds character. But Sunday is sacred.
Sunday is designated as a day of absolute rest and total freedom, and they mean total. On Sundays, couples are explicitly instructed not to restrict each other in any way. There is no compromise.
If the wife wants to watch a movie and the husband wants to read in silence, they separate and do exactly that.
Right. If one wants to host friends and the other wants to visit parents, they go their separate ways for the day. It is one day a week of unburdened, unfiltered freedom.
No sacrificing your desires to accommodate anyone else's mundane needs. And this space of absolute freedom leads directly into the final practice: gratitude.
The text lists things you must be grateful for. After surviving the cosmic accounting, the negative universe, and the marital crucible, the gratitude list is shockingly grounded.
It is beautifully mindful.
It forces you back into your immediate physical senses.
It demands you feel gratitude for simply having a place to sleep that is sheltered from the wind, for looking in the mirror and seeing a functional, healthy body.
It specifically highlights the joy of eating a piece of sweet, delicious watermelon on a hot summer day.
It asks you to marvel at seeing clear water flow from a tap to brush your teeth, to appreciate watching white sails dotting the horizon on the sea, or chatting by a warm fireplace when snowflakes are falling outside.
All of these extreme acts of severing ties with the mundane world, the silent endurance, the dietary restrictions, the rejection of hobbies, are designed to clear the static.
Wait, so the extreme sensory deprivation during the week is exactly what makes the slice of watermelon taste so good on Sunday?
Yes.
It's like fasting for days just to make a simple bowl of rice taste like a gourmet meal. You empty yourself of all the complicated human drama so that you have the capacity to actually taste the water from the tap.
Precisely. You climb out of the dark, complicated well, so you can stand on the grass and experience the simple, profound beauty of the physical world provided by the greatest creator.
What a completely wild journey. We have gone from the mechanics of a negative universe serving up malevolent spirits based on your passing thoughts to becoming a willing karmic doormat for a reckless bicyclist.
Yeah, we've navigated the stark, cold realities of a marital crucible, uncovered the spiritual dangers of stamp collecting, and explored the molecular resentment hidden inside a steak.
And every single one of those radical, isolating rules ultimately leads to a quiet, profound appreciation for a glass of tap water.
It is a meticulously constructed, self-contained architecture for living. Whether you find it inspiring or horrifying, It forces you to examine the baseline of how you interact with reality, which leaves us with something completely different to consider.
Oh, I'm intrigued.
We spent a lot of time talking about the negative universe
Yeah.
as a realm that instantly feeds you whatever you focus your mental energy on, good or bad,
Yeah.
healthy or destructive.
The cosmic algorithm.
Yes. When Feng wrote about this, he framed it as ancient celestial mysticism. But if you look at how we live today, haven't we actually built the negative universe in real life?
Oh, wow.
Our digital world, the internet, operates on this exact same premise.
Yeah.
If you focus on outrage, the algorithm feeds you endless outrage. If you search for despair, it surrounds you with despair.
We are living inside the negative universe right now. Our smartphones are the portal.
Exactly. So the question becomes, do you need to become a celestial being to escape it? Or do we just need to learn how to put the phone down and eat a slice of watermelon?
Something for you to ponder as you navigate your own algorithmic world today. I am definitely going to be thinking about my soul garden next time I open a social media app. Thank you for joining us on this custom deep dive. Keep questioning the mundane, and we will catch you next time.